and welcome back to the channel. So this week's video is an update on the update that I filmed last week. Week, in theory, should have been week 2 of kind of training, getting ready for the number of goals. So goal number 1 is get better at YouTube. Working on it. I think that's just going to be a continued goal, won't keep going on. Goal number 2 was high rocks, cancelled. Goal number 3 was 50k with Ultra X, beginning of April, down in Surrey, cancelled. So here's why. I went out for my longest run that I'd done. I kind of cut it up into 3 segments so that I can go and do the park run, I can go and do a social run that's run by a guy in Lancaster, which is amazing, and then I add on my kilometres after that. When I did that, I got to about, I think it was just when I left the run up guys, so I'd done kind of 10k, flat, flooded. I'll try and put some videos in. Moved back round the route that I then added on to I know, got to 14k, I could not do any more. Couldn't walk, really, definitely couldn't run. My left kind of calf, back of my knee, the pain was ridiculous. I did walk it, I didn't push it. I rang my coach to chat because he was at work and because then I know that I wouldn't run. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, no more running for a little while. Injury persisting. And I decided, right, that's it. 100% rehab. We are attacking rehab. Rehab 100, it starts now. So that's this week's video. It's about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and where to go next. So goal number 4 still stands, which is Austria on the 1st of June. Which is 39 kilometres with UTMB. That goal still stands. That gives me 12 weeks to get as sorted as I possibly can and minimise the risk of injury as much as possible. So that day, the lady bike came out of the cellar, got fixed, ride sponsored by Crimbles. I found a machine in the gym of cycling that I can actually get on board with, to be honest. It's basically an armchair. I went away and got some fantastic news and spent some time reflecting on everything and what I'm going to do and really getting my head around moving forward. So when I was doing my bodybuilding prep, I used to take loads of tablets, loads of supplements, like to the point where I actually got, where is it here? Basically a Dosset box. It started to make me feel a bit nauseous because I wasn't eating an awful lot anyway. So I came up with a new way of getting all my supplements in. And this isn't necessarily for everyone. Everyone doesn't need supplementation for food. I eat a very plant-based diet, very occasionally fish, and I have various niggles, injuries, that kind of thing. So for the next 12 weeks, it is absolutely attacking rehab, health. I've been getting so ill lately, little niggly injuries. I'm doing everything I can physically, but of course, everything relies on what's going on internally. I've actually just got back from the doctors this morning from various other tests, but I will do a separate section with that. So this morning I thought I'd show you how I get in all of my nutrients, a smoothie every day. So I've swapped out my tablet supplements and instead have a smoothie every morning with the Acuberry, collagen, super greens, turmeric, some hormone balance, all of which combined make a great kind of anti-inflammatory. Sometimes I'll put the hydration tabs in, depends. Usually if I'm at work, because I often forget to drink, then it's just 100 grams of frozen fruit, 100 ml of almond milk and water. So that is me back from acupuncture, which was so convenient because it's just over the road. And the honest response to that is I came in and I said, I don't know if I feel violated or rejuvenated, or both. but I think probably both, which sounds a bit extreme, but the idea came around because I had a chat with my cousin probably literally months ago in a random conversation, and she told me that the only thing that had worked for the bunion on her foot was acupuncture like 10 years ago. She got it through the NHS. I thought, well, as a bare minimum, if it can take the pain away from my left foot, that'd be great, because it really hurts each time it bangs against the side of my running shoe. And when I went in, I kind of explained about this left knee injury, which we initially thought was a tendon issue. I've now possibly monitoring the fact that there's like a Baker's cyst behind my knee, which is like a collection of fluid normally from knee damage. Anyway, I just stood there. He was like, do you mind standing in your pants and your bra? And I was like, no, it's fine. Stood there, pulled things about a bit, got onto the bed, pulled legs round back, opened up some joints and put needles, which, by the way, if somebody says doesn't hurt, if you have an injury, it definitely does hurt. Bunions definitely do hurt. I think he called it initially like circling the dragon by putting these small needles in, and yeah, you knew about it. It was painful. However, I've come away, he's straightened my left leg hamstring for the first time, I think, quite honestly, in about 14 years. He thinks that there was probably a tear once upon a time, and so that is a win. I can move my back a lot more freely, so that is an absolute win. We'll see how my foot goes. But yeah, first thing of rehab at 100% was the acupuncture, and it's done. It wasn't horrifically expensive, especially given how much he's done. I think it was around £70 for an hour. He went through everything. Didn't feel uncomfortable. It was fine. Obviously the pain felt uncomfortable, but that was it. I can definitely feel the difference just now. Get back to see how much of a difference, but in the meantime, we're off for a walk. So this is part number 2 this week of smashing rehab, getting sorted. It's going to be really quick because I'm running late, shock. But basically this is the full musculoskeletal kinetic corrective assessment. That took some reminding, probably not going to say that again. Hopefully I'll get some filming done and I'll give a full explanation as to why I'm here and what goes on, and maybe put some clips in. I'm going to obviously have to ask him if he minds me doing that. But yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. I'm also quite sleep deprived and full of caffeine, so good luck, Matt. See you soon. So I'm back and thought I'd actually sit down to explain this. A musculoskeletal kinetic corrective assessment. Wow. So I've just spent 2 hours basically stood fairly still, doing certain actions, movements, whilst he measured everything. Like, it's hard to explain everything, with like from the length of my spine to what happens to my spine if I do this, what happens if I do this, what happens to my arm if I do this, my thumb, my fingers, my neck, my legs, measurements of flexion, extension, like straightening and bending my knees, all my kind of hypermobility things, how much my muscles stretch, the power in certain limbs in comparison to the other. Super thorough. Now what he's going to do with that is write me up a 12-week program based on all of those numbers that he's got. A lot of it's kind of to do with breathing, core strength, and he simply said, you know, we are going back to absolute basics and you're just going to have to trust the process. But I said, that's absolutely fine. I am 100% in on this. It is not just a physical assessment that goes on with this program. I feel like I haven't done it justice as to how thorough or explained it. So they use a process called the 4 doctors, which is based on the 3 doctors, which is includes kind of diet, sleep, health, mental health, everything you can think of. And then a very kind gentleman, I want to say Paul Check, I'm not sure, added movement in. So it is not just the physical side of things, it covers lifestyle, everything. So it's so in tune with the way I like to train people, I like to train myself, and how I like to live, kind of thinking of everything and not just the physical side of things. So, which I think is probably why I'm really excited by it and will willing to absolutely give it my all, because it aligns so well with kind of my values and my thoughts on not just physical health, but the whole picture. Do it. Let's see if we can correct all these things. So just a brief-ish of how that came about. Basically, I was in my gym. Does anyone else have that guy or girl that they kind of watch and think, whoa, that's incredible? Well, I have one of those. And he basically does all of his exercises high kneeling on the bouncy exercise ball, which I'm sure probably has a proper name. But like full kettlebell workouts whilst kneeling on an exercise ball. And I just admire his strength. Like, that takes a lot. And then one day he came into the stretching area where I was stretching, and I just asked him, I just said, where do you even start with that? Anyway, that sparked a whole load of conversation, meetings, sitting down, going through all my injuries, him explaining everything, what his company and the company he kind of runs and works with does, and put me in touch with Matt, who has done the assessment today and is going to now be writing my programme. It's with the Czech Institute. So the plan now is I'm basically going to follow that. I've got 12 weeks until, Austria. Like I said, the next 2 things have been cancelled, although I am still going to Glasgow for the weekend because couldn't get a refund on the hotel, and why not have a jolly with my auntie. So so I'm just waiting now until next week. Hopefully he's going to write up the full 12-week plan. I'm going to see him at kind of regular intervals, but he is now the, main focus, I guess, and that program's going to be the main focus. He knows my goals, he knows what I want to achieve this year and next year with regards to running, and basically we're going to do everything we can to try and minimise the risk of injury as much as absolutely possible. You come up with a plan, do what you need to do, and with regards to my injury at the moment as to whether I can run, we'll integrate it in there. So really, really excited. So that's the second thing that I'm doing to rehab myself 100%. And again, it's a corrective assessment. So it's all of the injuries that I've had previously that either haven't rehabbed, or I've been very lazy and not fully rehabbed, or not been offered the rehab or been able to afford it. So I'm very fortunate at the moment. I am in a position where I can put that money towards getting myself better, and I'm really excited for it. So let's go. I think what's really interesting this time around, and why I probably haven't done it in the past, is it's always just been a bit annoying that I've got an injury and I'll just get through it and it's been fine. But this time around, I think I'm excited because I've set that goal at the beginning, that running is going to happen. It's a big one. I'm not the youngest anymore. I've only recently decided which kind of distances I like doing, but I've never run. I think I can hands down honestly say I have never run at 100% health-wise, physically or mentally. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens and what we can do over the next 12 weeks with everything that I'm putting towards this, to actually achieve, and what I can achieve having doing that. And it'll be really good. And the reason it's not bothering me so much is because, not bothering me that I've had to cancel things or change things around, is because if I don't try and do it now, then I don't ever want to look back and think, well, what if I just solved this or solved that? I wonder what I could have done. Nobody wants to wonder what they could have done, especially not me. That is the week done. So just on my way home, I've dropped off Nana Pat. We've spent the whole day, not the whole day, but a good chunk of the day spectating over at High Rocks. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I've ever said this, but it's probably a good job that I didn't do it and I'm injured, because there is no way that I would be able to do that 70% effort, which is kind of what we'd agreed to save myself for the 50k. That's at the beginning of April. There's just no way. I was getting competitive just watching, so it was probably a good thing. I've finished this week. I've done the acupuncture, I have done the kinetic corrective assessment, I have done my first run, which was very, very easy, very stop-start, 6k this morning since my injury, and it hasn't hurt. So, all the good stuff. Week 1 of rehab 100% completed. I'm super excited for this week. I'm going to get my strength training program. I'm going to go down and see Matt again, so I will try and get some filming this time. I'm going to try and do another 2. My aim is to kind of do 2 runs a week, very short runs a week, and just try and incorporate it in with Matt's training plan. I'm going to try and get some regular massages. I'm still in 2 minds about, I keep thinking I want the dunk ice bucket thing, but then I get really, really cold, so I think, no, that's a terrible idea. But it might help, you never know. And I've got another couple of things that I need to do with the doctor as well, which is slightly annoying, but so yeah, pleased. Just want to get home now, and I've only got a kind of cheeky, probably 3-hour drive. But the sun's out and it's been a lovely weekend, so I'm really pleased. Take care.